Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. During the week, cryptocurrency investors woke up to the brutal crash of their crypto investment, the worst since it gained more acceptance in January 2021. Now, what is this about? We have Khadija Abdulkadri in the studio with us, and she's Managing Director of Z Limited, and she'll be telling us more about cryptocurrency and this dip. And we'll be joined later by the founder of Blockchain Nigeria User Group, Chimezie Chuta. But we have Khadija with us, so let's get on with it. First of all, what is cryptocurrency?
So, good morning, and thank you for inviting me here today. I'm very excited. Cryptocurrency is really just an encryption. So it's
can you break it down? An encryption. When you think about cryptocurrency, you think about Krypton, Superman's
yes, exactly.
planet,
So I mean,
which is not real.
Well, that depends. So I mean, you don't think about crypto now. So really, when you think about cryptocurrency, you really should start from the larger conversation of blockchain, right?
What is blockchain?
So blockchain is really just a chain of information, so encrypted information.
Okay.
So if you think about security, encrypting, decrypting. So if I want to protect your information, I would
so I could say
encrypt it.
Coded.
Yes, so coded. You could say
Why
coded.
don't you just call it coded currency?
Oh, right. I mean, you don't want to say coded currency because you would also still be slightly inaccurate. So for the purpose of accuracy, we want to say encrypted. So when we want to protect your information, we will encrypt your information.
Okay. Is it like saying I have money that I don't have?
No.
Yes, I think Chimezie has
digital currency is like saying I have assets. It's an asset. So it's not really like saying I have money I don't have.
Intangible assets.
It's exactly. So you have an asset, but it is not physical assets. So it's a digital asset.
That's a bit confusing.
Very, very.
But Chimezie has joined us now. Chimezie Chuta, founder, Blockchain Nigeria User Group. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Now, let's see if you can give us a better and more elementary explanation of what a cryptocurrency is. So that 20-year-old at home, 18-year-old at home watching today can understand cryptocurrency.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Khadija, thanks again for connecting again today. Now, cryptocurrency, like Khadija has already explained, is basically an encryption. That is a way of hiding a computer information while it's being transferred from one person to another. And it's also a peer-to-peer based type of asset exchange. In other words, someone can give someone an asset, probably money, or a very unique type of asset, and he will completely give it up for the other party. So it is a means of exchanging valuables. So we use the overall name, cryptocurrencies, to identify all such asset classes. So basically, it's new and is leveraging some type of cryptography technology that had previously existed, which in the past were really military-grade type of security cryptography. So that's exactly what cryptocurrencies are.
Well, the volatility of that, what did you call it now? Asset is very, very disturbing. When it rises astronomically.
And when it crashes,
okay.
like a ton of bricks.
Is it a fall or a crash?
Dip.
A dip. Okay. Oh, it dips like
when
a ton.
When it dips,
well, okay.
It takes a deep dive. Okay. So that's one thing that gives people serious concern about it.
So I think that to underestimate volatility would be very premature on all of our parts.
Or lying.
Yeah. I also think that to not expect it is also really ignorant as well. it's a new ecosystem, but even within the regular traditional stock market, we have some volatility. Of course, we're beginning to gain a lot of stability now because it's been years and years. But if you think about the cryptocurrency market, we're just new. I mean, even if it's 10 years, 10 years is still fairly new when you're dealing with a new market. So there is a lot of volatility. It's a high-risk environment. Of course, it's a high-risk environment because there is, it follows a lot of trend patterns at the moment. There's not a lot of regulation, and it's not yet the most efficient form of transaction for regular day-to-day kind of investments. So I think saying it's too volatile, well, yes, it is very volatile. It's too risky. Yes, it is a risky environment, but then it also depends on what kind of investor you are, what kind of trader you are, how much information do you have about that ecosystem, and how long have you been operating in that ecosystem.
If I wanted to start investing in cryptocurrency, for instance, how would I go about it?
Okay, the very first thing that a new entrant should do about crypto is to spend quality time learning. I think it was Warren Buffett that said that never invest on what you don't understand. A lot of people don't understand the market cycle of crypto. So they don't know exactly how the market works. And it's obvious because people like to, go where they, this herd mentality, wherever the crowd is going, that's where they want to go without even asking the question of how does this thing work? See, the current volatility is not something that is unusual in a bull market because we are currently in a bull market. And the signal had already shown that the crypto assets were already being overbought. Okay, and if you look at the cycle, you know that when there is an overbought like that in the market, the chances are that the market is going to go through a correction. And that correction will, throw a lot of weak hands out of the market. So a new person coming into the market, probably without research, he will just jump in from the top. And that's where they get burnt, because you don't buy an asset when it's at its peak, because you're definitely going to get burnt. But the truth of the matter is that everyone who has ever bought Bitcoin, for instance, whether he bought at the top or he bought at the bottom, eventually gets into profit. In other words, the circle, the market circle of Bitcoin and most cryptocurrencies guarantees that at least every 4 years, there's going to be a price jump from wherever it was. So for those who had already bought and probably they are having issues on whether they want to sell, or you have already sold or whatever. But if you are in a situation where you bought any of these cryptocurrencies and the market dipped like this, at this time when you sell, definitely you'll be in a loss. And that will make you feel that our cryptocurrency is bad. What you do, you hold it. You hold it and wait it out. Probably in the next 1 month, in the next 2 months, the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, even if it takes 3 years, you wait it out and you will still be back in profit. No one who held Bitcoin for a long time has ever lost by holding it. So the best thing to do first is to get enough information, learn, study, ask questions, join communities that will teach you accurate stuff. Not, don't fall for what you see on social media or maybe just on Facebook. Somebody says, this coin is going to go to the moon. And you just say, wow, where is it? Let me buy. No, you have to really, really spend time to understand this thing. Understand this is technology. And there's no color inside it. So it's speculation of the technologies that will rebuild the systems that we already have. There are people who are speculating on some of the cryptocurrencies to replace platforms like Facebook, Amazon, YouTube, and all that. And it's natural for people to invest in them in their early stages. So that's exactly what I think a new user to do. Study, learn before you go involved.
In parentheses, since you mentioned Bitcoin, approximately how much is Bitcoin now?
Currently, Bitcoin is 37,300-ish this morning. And this time last year, Bitcoin was probably around $7,000. So you could see the progression. Early in the year, Bitcoin was $20,000. So currently it's 37, and it dropped to 37 from an all-time high of $65,000.
Interesting. Since you quoted Warren Buffett, it's the same Warren Buffett that said he's never going to touch it with a 10-meter pole and one single cryptocurrency. But you can't also shy away, Khadija, from the fact that people always testify that they make a lot of money from Bitcoin.
How?
And I'm wondering, so the question that I'm asking is, really, how does it work? How does it appreciate? What do you do with cryptocurrency that makes it rise in value?
So I think it's economics, right? It's really economics. It's the same thing. We're just dealing with a digital market. So nothing is different. When there is a demand, there's a supply, right? And that's what increases or decreases value. So if you think about it, so say, for example, Elon Musk tweets, right? He tweets a random tweet, really, a couple months ago and says, oh, we bought 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. The moment, and then he also, in the same conversation, says Tesla will accept this coin to buy a Tesla. I mean, how many people are trying to buy a Tesla? Think about maybe if I want to buy something, I want to avoid charges. I mean, because remember, trading with digital currency actually does help you avoid the typical traditional bank regulations and all the other things that you can skip when you make transactions. Yeah, quite a couple of things, in fact, I mean, which is why people are cracking down, like the United States, with taxes, saying that if you trade up to $10,000, you have to report it to the IRS, right? So there are really a lot of reasons why people are preferring digital currencies for larger transactions. Now, how does it appreciate? Well, think about it now. Somebody important has tweeted something to suggest something. I mean, people manipulate even our regular stock market. So this is just an instance of that, such manipulation. So I'm thinking, oh, I need to buy some Bitcoin because I'm going to need it. But I'm not the only one who's thinking this, right? A couple of other people are thinking they're going to need to buy some Bitcoin. So there is a demand for it. And that demand, of course, starts to increase the price.
Yeah.
But in the same vein, I come back tomorrow, if I was Elon Musk or somebody as important, and I say, you know what?
We're not accepting Bitcoin anymore.
I don't want to do this. And then China says, you know what? we don't want to do this anymore. And then Biden says, you know what? Everybody who makes a transaction of $10,000 must report it. What happens? Everyone goes into a panic. So a liquidity grab starts to happen, right? Where we're all panicking, and so we're starting to want to sell. But now there is a supply with a little bit less demand. So I don't want to buy for 40. I'll buy it for 20. But you know what? I'm so desperate. I just, sell it off.
Get rid of it.
So what happens? The price plummets. So again, Chimeze is very right. Don't necessarily go into a panic sell when there is a dip, because the same tweet will happen again, probably in a couple of weeks.
And it's going to rise.
Something's going to happen. But this happens even within the stock market, right? In the United States, we know about the hedge funds. They manipulate the market all the time, but not to this level, because this is a new market. So eventually it's going to gain maturity, and it will just be the same as the regular stock market, where you make this kind of,
Whatever it is. Now, Chimeze, do you see a time, because, you know very well, cryptocurrency is largely unregulated. Khadija also said that earlier. Do you see a time when people will be able to trust the product and say 100% we go all the way for it? Because right now, with this volatility and certain comments coming from various governments all over the world, it will seem like we're not ready for it.
Okay, thank you so much. The answer to that question, first of all, starts from a sub-answer to the question that Khadija already had answered. Now, fundamentally, the Bitcoin monetary system was designed to be deflationary. Again, now, in the crypto economic system embedded in the Bitcoin protocol, there is a design to create scarcity. And that scarcity is what drives value. the very first time Bitcoin was, released, the network rewards its miners, the people that maintain the protocol, with about 50 Bitcoin each in every 10 minutes. And this amount of reward has consistently depreciated, and it drops every 4 years. It first of all dropped from 50 to 25, from 25 to 12.5, then currently is 6.25 BTC every 10 minutes. Now, you have to understand also that because Bitcoin has a finite supply of 21 million, each time the reward of Bitcoin is reduced, it creates scarcity in the space. And that scarcity is what drives its value. Now, let's come in why regulators have issues with it. Monetary systems have been instruments of control by governments that issue them. And when you have politicians and they get involved with government and governance, they can manipulate the monetary system for their own personal gain and selfish interest. And that is the reason why when Bitcoin comes and people see the lack of control that anyone can vest on top of it, because it's designed to be censorship resistant. I mean, it's designed to be completely out of anybody's control. Now they begin to wonder, if we lose control of people's money, if we lose control of people's wealth, then how are we going to control them? And that's where their challenges are. Everywhere in the world, regulators have issues with Bitcoin because people are making a choice of the smart money, the hard money they want to use, against the money that government issued them. Government print money. I mean, they print money every time. So there is no final supply of money. And because there's no final supply of money, every holder of the government issued company, whether it's in US dollar or Naira, loses the value of his hard-earned work through the inflation that occurs on those currencies. And this is the reason why these things happen. So we're going to have a continued going back and go forth with regulators and policymakers until they figure a way where they can accept that the people have spoken, and they have spoken in the Bitcoin language. And that's one of the things that is causing the entire system to have this imbalance that we're having. I mean, there is a calculated attempt by different governments, different regulatory agencies across the world to push down and suppress the price of Bitcoin so that they can see if they too can have a buy-in, and by buying, they can have some type of control. But Bitcoin is designed to be such that, I mean, even if you have the whole money in the world and you say you want to buy Bitcoin from everybody, it's not everybody who will sell to you. No matter what you want, I can hold my own. You can't control the system. That's why it's such a big threat to government.
Yeah. Well, Chimezie, on that, if it's not subject to individual control, how come Bitcoin assets are designed? I mean, how come it responds to individuals' comments if it's designed to be decentralized? Question from Brendan.
Okay, sorry, I didn't get that question. The audio was a little bit muffled. Can you repeat it again, please?
Brendan says Bitcoin assets are designed to be decentralized. Why does it respond to individuals' comments?
Okay, thank you so much. Very correct. Now, this whole world, people are ruled by emotions and sentiments. And just like everything in the world, most people don't use their head, they use their emotions when they want to trade or do businesses. So when an influential individual, let's say someone like Elon Musk that has 55 million followers and is very rich, says something or tweets something, because he has a wide reach, people pick up that information. And the majority have what I had already said, the herd mentality. They go where the crowd is going. They don't even understand what is going on. They will move in that direction. So typically, people are moved by such things more than the fundamental thing they are supposed to do to understand what Bitcoin is or what cryptocurrencies are. So it will continue to be like that. There's no industry that people don't manipulate. There's no such industry. I mean, Goldman Sachs was built about $10 billion for manipulating the market a few years ago. So market manipulation is what people do because they understand that people are slaves to their emotions. And you cannot be a slave to your emotion and be a good investor. You should be able to know that, look, these things, again, I quote Warren Buffett, say, okay, that be bold to enter into the market when other people are fearful. So this time that people are fearful and they are dumping their cryptos and dumping their Bitcoin is the time that smart investors move in, because that's when they get Bitcoin at a discount and for cheap. So it will continue to be like that.
How much is it now?
Currently, like I said earlier, Bitcoin current price is exactly $37,300.
What was it before now?
$37,500. Yeah.
I mean,
$37,500.
it's in a dip now, and it's 37,000. So how much was it before?
It was previously, from where it dropped down to 37,000 was about 65. The all-time high was $65,000 in the early part of April. Okay. So that was the highest point that Bitcoin price has attained. But you know, when you want to look at the highest point, you also need to look at where the price was before. Incidentally, today being the 22nd of May is very significant in Bitcoin history, because it was in this day, some 10 years ago, some 11 years ago, that someone paid for pizza with 10,000 Bitcoin. And as at that time, Bitcoin was pennies. I mean, pennies. You can imagine buying pizza that you eat in your mouth, 10,000 of Bitcoin for it. So it shows you where it started from, where it is now, and where it's going.
Okay. So, well, just we're running out of time. I have just about 3 minutes or so. But Omar Farouk wants me to ask you, Khadija. The stock market is controlled by sale and purchase of commodities such as sugar, cement, petrol, and so on, as well as marketers' impact. What controls or influence the crypto market aside from human influence?
Well, also the things that you're buying. So people buy estates, for example, similar like sugar, right? Again, like I said earlier, it depends on what you're trying to avoid that is causing you to need to be away from the regulated market, right? So the regulated market, I give you 1 naira for sugar. You give me sugar and I go, right? I want to buy a house. I pay you maybe 50 million naira for that house, but then I'm heavily taxed and there are a couple of, things. Or maybe I want to buy something abroad. And the channels to make that purchase becomes like heavily dense, becomes really cumbersome and really distracting, because you're having to go through this channel and that channel, conversations here and there, right? I want to buy a car, for example. My car is over here, so I think that it's not yet, and I think this is really what's the most significant part of conversation we're not having today. The crypto market is not ready yet for day-to-day transactions. That's not currently taking place. So yes, it's not controlled by day-to-day type of transactions. It's controlled by more like heavier, denser conversations. Like I want to make a very big transaction, probably sometime outside my country. I want to have access to decentralized ability to make this kind of purchasing conversation without too much regulation. So I think the concerns we're struggling with is the average person. I mean, you can't buy a $10,000 pizza, right? So that average person conversation is really what's beginning to interrupt the cryptocurrency discussion right now. So we need to separate concerns a little bit so that we can start to see, okay, it's not day-to-day transactions yet. It will become day-to-day transaction eventually when it becomes mature enough.
I'll wait till then. In the meantime, Festus says cryptocurrency is a scam. China is currently cracking down on it. Its value is now crashing like a pack of cards.
Well, no, not a scam. Not a scam. I think China did the same thing in 2017, right? So again, I think that's the problem. It's not new. So China has woken up, the government says, "Oh my God, crypto is trending, blockchain, Bitcoin is trending again. Let's say something to disrupt this market." So they go and they say the exact same thing they said in 2017. So if you were paying attention in 2017, what China said today is really the same thing. It didn't say don't own it. It didn't say don't mine it. It just said we're going to regulate or don't collect, right?
Can any government really tell people what not to do, seeing that even Nigeria...
Do you have any Bitcoins?
What are you talking about?
Okay, all right.
So here's my advice for a lot of people, because we talk about Bitcoin a whole lot, right? But it's just one of the coins, right? Like one of the many coins that are available. I think there are close to 4,000 coins at the moment.
4,000?
Yes, and I think there are too many also. But then again, can we say there are too many currencies? Because every country has a currency, right?
Yeah, I also understand that there are some of them that have gone kaput, as we say.
Just like a lot of currencies, like the Naira.
No,
we're still spending it.
Yes, we're still spending it.
We're still spending it.
So we have to. This conversation is definitely not just going to go away. We're gonna, it's something that we have to sustain. But for now, we have to thank you very much for being a part of our program this morning.
Thank you.
Chimeze Chuta is founder of Blockchain Nigeria User Group, as well as Khadija Abdulkadir, Managing Director, Z Limited. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For
Thank you
your
very
time and
much.
thoughts
Thanks.
today.
Thank you.
So, we're back for the
Home stretch.
home stretch in a bit. Do stay with us.